Earlier this year, I was blessed with the opportunity to visit the city of Lima in Peru. Lima is a massive place with a population of over 11 million and covering 2,700 square kilometers. This city is a bustling metropolis and makes the city of Toronto, which is where I come from, look almost small in comparison. The main square in central Lima is filled with people at all times of day and during the evening. Beautiful buildings, many of them centuries old with Gothic architecture, surround this park. The city itself spawned from this central location after its foundation in the early 1500s. Pictured here is the Government Palace of Peru, which was originally constructed to house this country's president. Despite its original purpose, this beautiful building is now owned by Amazon, and they use it as a distribution center. The residents of Lima fondly refer to this place as the Big Lima Bean, but this is generally a well-kept secret among locals, so if you start calling it the Big Lima Bean and people look at you funny, that's just because they're surprised you know about this. Lima! Welcome to the Lima Bean. It's time for us to take a walk down to the coast and check out some of these famous Peruvian beaches. Being a coastal city, Lima has many beautiful beaches. They draw in many tourists every year, and they're a beautiful place to go and relax. If there's one issue with them though, it's the fact that they're dotted with fish markets, and that makes them stink pretty badly. On a particular visit to a local fish market on a Lima beach, I noticed that this poor dog had passed out due to the smell. These unfortunate sharks are being harvested for their mercury, which will be used to make household thermometers. Due to the country's lack of natural resources, thermometers are one of their chief exports, falling just behind coal. These other fish will be ground down into a gruel, which will be used to feed the massive population of stray dogs that inhabit Peru. Fishing and gruel production are a massive industry in Lima, and local poaching factions, ruled over by fish barons, routinely battle for control of the coastline. As it's situated right on the coast, Lima is basically one giant hill. So if you love walking up hills all day, Lima is definitely a place you want to check out. Lima has many really cool local markets, and you can find just about anything there. Though I should caution that if you're white and you walk through here, they're going to look at you funny, be reluctant to serve you, and they're going to call you gringo a lot. To be fair, they stare at you even more if you're a 7-foot tall black guy with dreads like my friend Lennox here. And of course, you can't go anywhere without that ever-present smell of dead fish. I should probably also mention that it's extremely hot here all through the day. If you have pasty white skin like me, you're definitely going to want to bring sunscreen with you, or you're going to cook. The ideal growing conditions that are provided by the Andes Mountains have yielded all sorts of different kinds of vegetables and fruits here. One thing that's really cool about Peruvian markets is their potatoes. They have potatoes here in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, and colors, and they're really high in vitamin C. These little potatoes here, for instance, have a dirt color. Although I'm not really sure if that's because they're sitting on the side of the road in the dirt or if they're supposed to look that way. This is the lobby of the Hilton Hotel in Lima at which we stayed. This is widely considered to be one of the most beautiful places in Lima. If you're going to travel to Peru for one thing, it's definitely going to be the food. Lima has some amazing cuisine on offer. You never have to look far for something new to try, like this delicious pork and sweet potato sandwich. There's also this octopus dish, which was alright, but maybe just a little overcooked. Nothing makes me hungrier than the sight of rubbery tentacles wrapped around potatoes. Couple interesting little known facts about octopus. They're said to have their brains inside of their tentacles, so when you eat those tentacles, you're also eating their brains. They're also said to have the intelligence equivalent to a 3-year-old child, so it's kind of like you're eating a baby too. This was a rice and chicken dish that I ate in the Hilton Hotel lobby. It didn't have any brains or children in it. I asked the waiter just to be sure. It also didn't give me food poisoning like some of the other meals I ate in the marketplaces. After a good meal of octopus and sweet potatoes, it's time to head downtown. The traffic in Lima is pretty bad most of the time. On this day, I think we were pretty lucky. But one thing I can say is that people here drive like complete They really don't understand the right of way, and they will cut you off constantly. so you really gotta fight to get anywhere you want to go. A lot of the cars you see on the road here are pretty banged up, and that's probably because they don't know how to drive. The roads are also pretty worn and falling apart, but I guess when there's 11 million people driving on them, that's kind of to be expected. Other than that, it's amazing. The people of Lima are really into car culture. I'm told there's underground racing regularly, and there's a lot of classic cars driving around, like this piece of shit that's being held together by dirt. Located on this hill on the other side of the city are the slums. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. If those are the slums, where the hell are you guys right now? The brightly colored paint that is used to paint these buildings is used as a warning sign to tourists, telling them to keep out of this area. Lima is a truly beautiful place at night. The surrounding hills and mountains are breathtaking, and the sound of people honking their horns and screaming all through the night lulls you into a sense of security. Peruvians seem to be pretty happy people. Even though our flight was canceled and we had to stand in this line for 7 hours, these people were still having a great time. And I guess that just shows that inconvenience and being treated like shit by airlines is just a normal part of life here. So it's time for us all to roll out and on to a different city. Lima's a beautiful place, I was glad to see it, and I hope one day I can come back. In closing, I just want to tell you that Avianca is a terrible airline. They're kind of like the Flair of Peru. They'll charge you $130 USD just to have a carry-on, and they treat you like garbage. One of the flight attendants was eating smelly fish out of a Tupperware container in the back while we were flying, and when I complained, they threatened to ground the plane. Anyways, good times. Catch you in the next one.